Nannu, let me explain what the university is looking for. The university gives talks. Usually they're in the library, and they usually have scholars speak about a subject. I've attended many talks. It could be the history of music in Malta, or women in Malta, whatever. So this talk is about the drydocks. Okay. And the idea that some people were talking about, in fact, some people. One is my friend Michael DeGuara. Michael is an anthropologist. Okay. He lectures at the university, and his colleague is named Adrian Grima. And Adrian Grima is an expert in Maltese literature. And they're doing a project called Oral Histories, which means when people remember things and they talk about what they remember. So Adrian asked Michael to do a project about the drydocks, and I told Michael, I said, my Nannu remembers everything about the drydocks. His brother worked there. He was a shipbuilder, Uncle Joe, and you were there. You were
Uncle Paul too.
Oh, Uncle Paul?
Uncle Paul too. Yeah, he was an apprentice. Yeah. Uncle Paul, when he took the exam, he did not qualify as an apprentice. But if you don't make the grade to be accepted, you'd be classified as a junior helper, an assistant, like to learn. But they don't give you the schooling. They don't give you learn on the job, the trade only, no schooling. Yeah.
So the idea, maybe we could record you like you and I have been doing, but I think they would love it if you wanted to be live as well, and people could talk to you and ask you questions.
I don't mind, I'm not ashamed. I know how to talk. The fact is this, that I'd like to see what subject they want to talk about, because let me give you a general idea for you. They have not the drydocks in Malta. They had machine shops. They had construction jobs. They had plumbing shops, welders. They had painters. They had civil construction, architecture. Oh my goodness, shipbuilding, scrapers. The skilled laborers, they used to scrape the bottom of the ships from all that, the stuff that gets stuck to the bottom. And there was accidents that I remember. There's one question I can't remember. I'd pay anything to remember. There was an accident in Malta while I was studying in the drawing office, drafting. This was a huge supply ship. It was in Malta all the time. One time he cut loose. He was flying over. They saved him. Another time, he just ducked into the number 4 dock. And when they lowered the ship down on the post, they drained the water, and it holds on the supports on either side. This thing was so huge, and the posts were so old because of World War II, that the ship slid forward, moved forward about a couple of feet, and that was a disaster because there was a lot of people working under the ship, scraping. And this was a huge supply ship. And I remember I was in the office, and it felt the tremor of the ship moving forward. It felt like an earthquake. We came out of the office to see what's happened. And we see the ship move forward. It did not go just either way. Stay straight and move forward to the front of the dock, number 4. And it's sad to say, very, very sad to say, that one person got caught between the ship and the post, the wooden post underneath. And he was as thin as a piece of paper. But he was conscious. Yeah, his body, yeah, because he got caught from the stomach, between the stomach and the ship, between the post and the ship. His stomach was paper thin.
Oh my God.
He had to be, there was no way of getting him out of there alive. No way. They tried everything. So then what they had to do is this. There was nobody else got hurt. Little bit shrapnels here and there. But they had to inject this ship with a terminal, inoculation to save him from suffering that pain, and gave him the last rites as a Christian. And then they had to fill up the dock again with water so the ship could lift up again and to get him out, to get him free from the posts and the keel of the ship. And of course, he was dead already, because they killed him ahead of time. It's sad to say this, but there was no choice. They had to terminate him while he was caught.
I'm
And
so
I
sorry.
cannot remember the name of the ship, and it's something like the Rex or something short name. I cannot remember. I pay anything to remember the name of the ship. It was black and white. Big supply ship used to go out to supply the fleet, when they're at sea. The destroyers, tankers, everything used to go out and supply them. And I would pay anything to find. I can't remember. I can bite on my tongue. Anyway.
I think maybe we can find that. What year was it? Do you remember?
It's gotta be. I was in my. Let me see. I was in my my second. Yeah, my second. Term in the drawing office. About maybe 1941. No. I say about maybe 1942, 53 in that area.
Huh.
I cannot. Maybe times some more that would remember that.
Oh yeah, I bet you it's in the newspapers. Maybe we can find that
The
information.
types of mortar has been around all the life, mortar. That used to be owned by Maple Strickland.
Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna stop.
So as I was saying, if they give me exactly what they're looking for, like the docks, the story about the docks, how big they were, who is the largest, the story about the cranes around the dock on the rails. You'd be up sky high on the big cranes, huge cranes, to remove machines and engines and everything. There's the boatyard, boathouse where my brother Joe used to work, building boats and repairing boats and everything. There's the joinery shop, and there's the joinery of construction, joinery of furniture, joinery of cabinets in the sea. There's the joinery shop, there's the paint shop, there's the MED, mechanical engineering, there's the MCD, there's the pattern maker, my favorite, the pattern maker shop, who was the factory like of professional wood carvers and wood makers. They make the molds for the foundry. They could use the molds with sand, and then they remove the mold and they leave the imprint of the mold in the sand, and then they pour either the steel, the brass or anything to shape, let's say, the propeller of a ship. So that has to be made out of, there's so many things to talk about, welders, electricians. So I have to tell me what it is about, schooling, education, and I'll be able to prepare myself.
Okay.
Just give me an idea, and I don't mind in person. I don't mind more than one people, two people, three. I give the answers the best I know how. But I know a lot. There's the DDB, Dockyard Defense Battery, which was defending the dockyard. These were regular employees of the dockyard employees. They joined the army of the dockyard, anti-aircraft guns. So they will, during the air raids, will go on post, leave their job, go to the post, and go on the guns to defend anti-aircraft batteries. There's aircraft carriers involved. There's aircraft carriers that flew planes from Malta. There's the illustrious aircraft carrier, was the beginning of the Germans coming to Malta. There's a lot to remember. And I spent there, my total time in the Naval Yard was when I was 16 years old until I was 25, because then I came to America. But that's my apprenticeship.
You were there from wait. You were there from 11 years old to when you were 25?
No, from 16 years old.
Okay, I don't know why I heard 11. From 16 to 25. Wow, that's almost 10 years.
Yeah, well, I had 7 years apprentice, and then you got the diploma of a master, whatever you're doing, and you get after your apprenticeship, you got to prove yourself you're gonna pass the exams. And that gives me the think of a master mason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That's after 7 years. While other apprenticeships were only 5 years. But architecture, naval architecture was a.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up because Nanu's gonna yell at this guy.
No.
No, don't yell at him. Okay. Are you sure?
Hello? Hello, who's calling?
Wait, I'm gonna mute him.
كلمني هيدا الشهاجة. هي كلم. Mr. Crispy. Bye.
You yelled at him in Maltese, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I know, I keep practicing.
I don't know what
So
you
you
said,
see-
but I'm sure it was bad.
And there was a cute little railroad train. It was 2 wagons to travel in the naval yard, right?
Mhm.
And on the rail to carry on these heavy loads. Then you have places like underground, like my uncle Salvo, he was a generator, electrical generator attendant. He takes care of them. Then you had places where they stored the gasoline. People went crazy, were going out of their mind with the smell. Actually, they went really out of their mind. They would have had a lot of lawsuits if they were in America. Some of them died.
Mm.
Oh, I mean, there's so many things to ask. It's best that they know the subjects and they will supply the answers.
Okay, I have a question. How old were you when you first saw the dockyards, and what was your impression, like as a child? You must have seen the dockyards as a child, and how did you feel about them?
This is how I feel. First of all, in our time, that's the best job unless you go professional in schooling, teaching, or doctor, or with a degree. You have a chance to the best place to go try an apprenticeship. If you qualify, you get accepted, and you pick up a trade. Joiner, electrician, plumber, welder, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, saw the first inside of a docket because you're not allowed in there. You couldn't even carry matches in there. And I was 16 years old when I walked in there the first time. Actually, the first time was not that. When I took the exam to go in there. And then when I qualified as an apprentice, you pick up according to your grades, how you rated. They say number 29, number 40, number 600, number 700, whatever number you qualify, whatever number you place in. I placed number 11. So that was not bad. And that was not my fault either because the teacher, they're all English commanders, and we had dictations, dictated and we write. And then you got this guy, he skipped a paragraph. So all the people in my class that test, we were all fell down by failing the dictation.
Ugh.
And it was terrible. Anyway, but that's all besides it. But there's stories of the dogs, how big they are, number 4, number 5. There was number 1. Number 1 is the one that you have in Cospicua now used as a park, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's number 1 dock for the submarines and floats. There's number 2, just like it. There's number 3 in Sanglia. There's number 4 in Cospicua. There's number 5. There's another thing that nobody ever knew except us that we worked in there. There's a tunnel from the black tunnel in Cospicua and between Cospicua and Casal Paula and the Paula, there's a tunnel from there through the bastions, through the forts, underground, and it goes all the way to Sanglia. Under Sanglia, where the big eye is, on the wherever you hear, don't say nothing, It's a Guardiola. It's called Guard.
I know where
Oh.
that is. Yeah.
Yeah, all the way down there with cables, where President Roosevelt can't do it.
President Roosevelt went to Malta. He went to Sanglia.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What?
Oh yeah. He came on the wheelchair, and they built a ramp from the ship for him to roll himself down. And
What?
Churchill came to Malta. They all came to Malta.
Roosevelt came to Sanglia in a wheelchair?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
do you,
and if you go to Valletta, you see there's two plaques in there, Maltese and an American. This the island of Malta and all the population here, something like that. They saved the world 2 years of war with their gallantry and with whatever they saw, the courage and all that. In Valletta, right in front of the palace. Go look for it. There's two plaques, marble on the wall. So I keep going because they keep coming to my mind.
wow. Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about Uncle Joe and Uncle Paul, like what they did in the shipbuilding yards
of
and
course.
the dockyards?
My brother Joe was what you call a surgeon of woodwork. Not even a drop of water would go to. He was a great fitter. And his job was to repair boats. However, I'm going to come with another story.
Good.
Right? During his time in there, we had an attack from the Italians with 17 Italian E-boats, like torpedo boats. They call them E-boats. Like President Kennedy, there was, the motorboat, torpedo boats. But these were so fast that they were all full of explosives. And they came and they directed them automatically they directed them with like astronauts, pilots for this special mission, that they would direct them, aim them to the target, and then they bail out and they go head to place, like the kamikaze, and the boats will hit. And as a matter of fact, if you go where the breakwater in Malta is, that iron arch that used to be two, was knocked out, or the rest of the war. Only recently they built that again, that connects Ricasoli and the other breakwater. So you see, so Uncle Joe was in this boatyard. That's what it's called, boatyard. But they could never find out the regular fluid to run this boat because they caught one. They captured one. It missed the target. But they could never drive them with the speed that they were supposed to take. They had no fluid for them. And the rest of these boats were knocked out by the Spitfires. They attacked before they reached the target. The planes that touched them and they're loose, and they exploded out of Malta. So you see, the story gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Did you see any
Don't tell me to stop.
Yeah. Shush. And this is my nanny's going to yell at my nana. They love each other very much, but come on. All right, so.
I'm not yelling at that because she don't give me a chance. I can't go anywhere. I can't do nothing.
I'm sorry.
I'm talking to Dawn, my granddaughter.
Okay. I'm just gonna sing until la 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 la. I might have to finish.
She's doing.
Okay. Hi, Nana. Say hi.
Hi, honey.
I love you. Okay. Nanu's just telling me stories about Kaspiqua. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know her mother was born in Kaspiqua, do you?
Of course I know that.
And my mother was born in Kaspiqua. Do you know that?
I know that too. Yes.
Okay, good for you.
And I know the Figalos, the shoe store, the haberdashery.
Okay,
Nana's.
you know all that. And my father was in Kaspiqua as a policeman.
I know that. And Burgu, I know that.
And Virgo, that's right. Okay.
But but since we're talking about the dockyards, let's focus on that. So did you see any fights there? Like you mentioned these Spitfire attacking.
Of course.
What did you see there?
Dog fights. When the Spitfires used to change the bombers out of Malta, then they would be escorted by their own fighters, by the Messerschmitts. Then you see a beautiful thing. You see, beautiful, because you see these planes attacking themselves, somersaults in the air, praying that they fall down, that they're shot down, and they go up. So the Messerschmitt has a problem. It used to dive, not the Messerschmitt, the Junker 87. That was a dive bomber, 90 degrees dive bomber. It goes straight down, and it makes a terrible noise with the bombs to terrify the people. But his biggest defect was when he goes down straight down and try to turn to go up again. That was his weakest sport. They used to fight for him, the dockyard defense battery, and as soon as he start turning up, boom, that's where they get him.
This is in the dockyards? You saw this in the dockyards?
Yeah, I saw it, dockyard, and even when I went home,
Yeah.
the dockyard, you had to go there. And we see dive bombings in dockyard, especially the aircraft carrier Illustrious. They used to come attack them even when they were docked. That's why the destroyers, the name was Kingston, was a sad thing to see after World War II when they drained the docks. It was the skeleton of the ship laying on its side,
That's
They
the
even found skeletons.
that's the HMS
Yeah.
Suffolk, right? That was the HMS Suffolk?
No, HMS Kingston.
The Kingston.
Kingston, yeah, Kingston.
Oh. So wait, the Kingston was a supply ship?
No, the Kingston was a destroyer.
And it came into the dry docks. It was going out?
It wasn't the dry docks for repairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And while she was there for repairs, she even used to fire her anti-aircraft guns on post while she was posted without water in the dry dock. There was another ship, the Penelope, HMS Penelope, that used to be in dock number 4. It was caught in there for the duration of World War II. So from there, it used to defend the naval yard with the anti-aircraft gun.
Oh, so they were stationed there. They weren't in the water, but they could still shoot the planes.
Oh yeah, they were on the post. They were on the post, yeah.
So with
That
the
was
Kingston,
beautiful to see.
so the Kingston was
That
there.
was-
The King.
It was hit. The Kingston was hit while docked, and they
And
could not open because each dog in the front of the dog was a caisson, which they used to open like a drawer to let the water in, or close it to empty the water. And what happened there, while she was in that dock in there, they could not open the caisson. You see, and she was hit, and that's when it toppled over, and they could not drain the water out to save them for the duration of the war.
so wait, the
it was all
people.
rusted.
So the people were on the ship when they got hit,
Sailors, yeah.
and they couldn't leave because there wasn't water in the docks.
They could not release the ship out of the dock. So the ship, whether they did with these survivors, right? The ship was toppled over its side. And the dock was big enough to accept it because this was number 5 dock. It was big for the aircraft carriers. Anyway, but there's so many things to say,
And you saw the ship after it was hit, right?
I saw the ship after it was hit, and I saw the ship after it was released from the water when they repaired the dock, and they took the water out. It was a big show. Everybody gathered around the dock, and you see this water being drained out or filled. That's another something to see. When they use the loading dock, the dry dock, when it's filled with water, when the ship goes in it and they put them on the ship on post to support it, to say in a dry dock, then you see the fish jumping around that they get caught, they can't get out.
What?
And everybody gathers the fish to take it home because you had no food.
Oh, wow.
So complicated anyway.
Did you take the fish too?
I hate fish.
But you like shrimp scampi.
I hate the smell. But they caught fish, a lot of fish. They used to be ready to go down to catch the fish.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where did you go? Like, what were you doing exactly? You were just working on the stonemasonry and the architecture. You were rebuilding things that were hit.
Yeah, I was building things that were hit, arches and everything. I was in the drawing office designing and make blueprints, copies of prints. I used to go on surveys to survey the land. The survey, I used to go, like the biggest survey I ever made. It was brutal. It was in Cospico. Cospico was hit very bad. The buildings in Cospico were almost destroyed. And we used to go make a survey of all the houses, picking up the old prints from the houses when they were built, and mark them again on the survey, which one was hit. It was terrible. Anyway, but in the drawing office, we were allowed only 2 years, and then you go on the job regular. Then stone dresser, like they bring the blocks from the quarries, round it down, and we have to straight them up, create the blocks out of them, and make them the same size to fit the walls. It's a big situation. It's beautiful, mixing concrete, testing the concrete and the mixture, my goodness. Ready? And then you are Francis, you don't know what you're gonna do. So suppose I stop talking, and then I said next to you, holding your hands here like this. Is that it? That makes you happy?
Here we go again.
You see?
I know.
So gather me all information that they want to know about, right? And then I start thinking, put my memory at work, because when I read that yesterday on the computer, I get up in the middle of the night. I was thinking about the department: SCE, MED, SCRD, plumbing shop, carpenter shop. Try to remember, and then I remember each shop where it was, what each shop produced, pattern makers, etc., welders, plumbers. What can I tell you? It's an endless story. I could go on forever.
So can you tell me about your emotions? Like, you were there when the Kingston was hit, right? You were working. What were you doing when the ship was hit?
Well, nothing. You take nothing very serious at that time. The only thing you're concerned about your life. But you were lucky enough to escape any hit. Even though the naval yard, dockyard, has a lot of shelters, number 54 shelters, we had numbers for them. And we go underneath, under a barge, and they can do nothing to you, except you have the blast walls built in front of the entrances and the escape hatches. But you're concerned about yourself, your friends, and who's there. How are you going to get home? What did you lose? Are they going to be all right at home? And all that. But it was a terrible situation. Terrible. As a kid, I was 16 years old anyway. So.
Did you lose friends in that time?
Oh, no. That's where I met your cousin that I told you about, that you played the cello. Remember, I said you look a lot like Iris, her name. Look a lot like her, Vassallo. Remember, I told you played the cello?
I do, but I don't remember you saying I look like her. I look like her.
Oh, yes, you look a lot like her.
Aw.
You do.
Tell me about Iris Vassallo.
Wait a second. And she was teaching me in high school to go take the examination to get into the docket. Calculus and all that stuff, hydrostatic, mathematics, arithmetic, dictations, and all algebra and all that horseshit. Now, she was a pretty girl. She never married, as far as I know. I only knew her during World War II. I never met again with her. She's from Burza Buja. Her name was Vassallo. Her father was a bass player, very highly educated. Blonde hair, genuine blonde. Actually, strawberry blonde. She was not blonde, strawberry blonde, but beautiful hazel blonde, like, she was very nice. Her hair reminds me of you very much.
And she was the one where you went into her class, and then she was like, "Are you related to me?" And then she, like, you always went into the bomb shelters together. She held your hand in the bomb shelters.
And all the time, even walking the street, held my hand.
Oh.
Because we'll die family together.
Oh.
Yeah, she was so pretty. Iris Vassallo. She was very smart. And to tell you one thing, she got a class of about 90 students. You know what I mean?
God,
90 students in one class.
Ugh.
And they all respected her.
What did she
But she
teach?
was sweet.
What did she teach?
She taught English.
Oh. Oh, she's my
English.
spirit. She's my spirit guardian, Iris, who's the goddess of the rainbow in Greek mythology.
She was very smart. And when she spoke, nobody said, woof. You listened.
I wish my students were like that.
No, she wasn't hit anybody. But she had, that appearance that she very institutional, when you don't dare, commit yourself to disagreement, this is it and this is it, from the horse's mouth, that's it. Yeah. There was only 2 teachers in St. Mary's College. Cordina, his name was Cordina. He was a brilliant man, very proud of the accomplishment, and she and her.
Is St. Mary's College in Cospicua?
Yeah, it was in Cospicua going towards Sanglia.
Okay.
I'll tell you exactly where it was, in case you've been Cospicua.
Yeah.
You know where St. Paul's Church is? There's the post office, there's a church at the corner, up the ramp, going to Casal Paula.
That's by American University? Is that the one across the street from the American University, the beautiful church?
No, that's in Birgu. That's in Birgu.
That's Cospicua.
This is from the square of Cospicua. You go where the gallows were with the store. You go up the ramp and up the street. It's a hill. It's a hill to go into Casa Pabla, to the Black Tunnel. At that corner, there's a church in there, St. Paul's Church. So you go now from the church, you go towards Sanglia, towards the Sanglia gate. Mm-hmm. On the left side, assume the beginning of that road, that was St. Mary's College.
Oh, wow. I'll find it. I'll find it.
It's still there, because a lot of places fell,
Didn't you help design a building there with a dome? I remember Joey.
Yeah, that's Verdala. That's at Verdala. That used to be a barracks for the Navy and all, like a rest camp, to take a little break.
Where is that?
Verdala, between Zabar and Cospicua.
Okay.
It's still there. Today it's a technical school, but Charlie Katkuti, tell Charlie Katkuti, he'll tell you where it is.
Oh, the school, the Verdala school.
Yes, that was Charlie Katkuti's project as a technical school. You
designed the dome there.
I did not design, I repaired it.
Oh, you repaired it. I thought you designed it.
I repaired it because it was, not just myself, other people too. There's a theater in there. That dome was above the stage of the theater. Yeah. See, how long it takes.
Can I ask you, Michael DeGuara, he suggested that I ask you about Il Perit. Do you know who Il Perit is?
Il Perit?
Uh-huh.
Perit is a, what do you call it here? Oh, Jesus. I lost the English word. A Perit is a designer, an engineer. Like in America, what do they call them?
Architect.
Architect. That's a Perit. It's an architect.
Oh, but there's not a specific person called like Il Perit, the architect.
Yeah, that's Il Perit that designed Zabbar Coppola. Zabbar Church Coppola. Perit, yeah. That's a nickname in Zabbar, but he was a real architect.
Okay.
Okay, he used to live in Marsa Scala in St. Michael's Square. St. Michael's Square, Zabbar. He used to live in one of the houses. Yeah, big house, beautiful house. Oh.
What year?
All our life we lived in there.
Oh, you knew him?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a kid.
He designed
When he died, they had an auction of his humongous furniture, and I think my aunt bought a sofa from there,
What?
a black sofa.
Okay. So
I
interesting.
don't you nuts, do I?
No, it's just hard to try to understand everything. Like this guy, he designed what? He designed the cupola in Mata Grazia?
Yeah. Zabar it was only the shape of a cross, right? The shape of the building, the church itself, is a cross. On each side of left and right, the cross one look like this, right?
A cross.
On this side and this side, there was a cupola in there.
Okay.
And the arches on to the front, they built what they call the courses. And there are 3 domes on each side. But in the middle of the church, right in the middle of the cross, there's a big, wide, about 90 feet wide cupola. And that's built up to about 200 feet up into the ceiling.
It's hard for me because I don't really know what a cupola is. So I don't.
A dome. A cupola is a dome. The thing that like the White House, like the Capitol.
Ah, okay. Like the rotunda.
That's a cupola.
And they added cupolas to the church? They added it later?
Of course.
Of course.
Those churches took hundreds of years to build, They're not built overnight.
Yeah.
There's art. You should go and study that, how beautiful they're. Forget about it.
What did
See now what happened from the dockyard to Zabar.
Yes, it's true. Do me a favor. I want to ask you because I want to stop recording soon because I don't know. It's getting long. It's already 36 minutes.
Now? Are we recording?
Yeah. But can you ask them in Maltese like what you want, what information you want? Can you tell them in Maltese? Just say to them any questions you have and any requests you have.
Yeah, I say that in Maltese. Okay. When you're ready, I say it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
In Maltese, you want it, right?
For them, yeah.
Okay. Dear friend, education people, I'm going to say something in Maltese. لو الحاجة عندي بيجي حفنا نلتقى معكم ونحسني أونورات الصو اللي جيت معزول باش نعمل risposti għad-domandi ta'kom. Il-dockyard kienet post kbir ħafna. Not just the dockyard, it's spread over Bigi and over Rinella and Gżira, torpedo boats and everything. But the dockyard itself, which I learned from there, I went in there in Maltese, I went in English.
It's okay.
كبرت هناك تا 16 سنة, apprentice 7 سنين, و kelli degree ta' Master Mason. Soddisfat ħafna billi tallimt, of course l-Ingliżi kienu in command, u kollox fidej l-Ingliżi, kollox li rdejdu huma. Nirringrazzjakom ħafna li għażiltun biex nekkom, jiena mill-abilità tiegħi kollha nagħmel l-aħħar issa. Naf ħafna fuq. Allura nitlobkom li qabdu suġġett jew drydocks, jew torpedo boats, jew l-MD, that's another department, enormous. Danger, periclu, shelters, generating station, cordine, dogs themselves can have Hamas dogs in there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, it-preparaw xie t-dudna fa' minandi, jena k-nistanajkom mill-aħjar li nista. Għarix nejt ħafna, because nitkellem ħafna wissa. Għandi my granddaughter tiegħi, and she causing all this, I know her. She's a researcher. God bless her. And Allah birkom bil-kol. Għandi picture ħafna li l-tqajt ma'kom fuq il-computer. iPad. Bye now.
Okay. I'm going to stop recording.